I found out my 31 male, ex-wife, 27 female, cheated on me while she was pregnant. Now she says I'm emotionally manipulative because I'm cold and distant during custody switches. I, 31 male, found out my now ex-wife, 27 female, had been cheating on me last year, when she was 6 months pregnant. Affairs happened before and during the pregnancy. She had reasons and excuses and didn't want to get a divorce. She wanted to stay together and do couples therapy. I told her to go ahead and get therapy, but cheating was a deal breaker for me, so we got a divorce. The house was mine before we got married, so she moved back in with her parents, who had enough room to set up a nursery and give my ex the guest room. We agreed to an even 50-50 split of custody. My wife has our daughter Sunday through Wednesday, and the original plan was for her to drop her off at daycare on Wednesday morning, and my nanny picked her up around noon and brought her back to my house, where my daughter would stay with me until Saturday night or Sunday morning, depending on what worked best for everyone. Then my ex said she thought the daycare was misplacing some things she was sending in for her to bring to my house because a few times, our daughter came home shorts and bottles or without her binky. So ex said she wanted to drop her daughter off at our house directly to make sure all of her things get to meet. So she started picking her up from daycare on her breaks and dropping her off here. I work from home Wednesdays, Fridays. Even so, I'm working. When ex began dropping off Nadine at my house, it was normally about 12:30. My daughter's nanny, nice old lady from Barbados. Not sure of her age, but I'd say late 50s or 60s. Was the one to answer the door for my ex and take my daughter and her things since I was in my office working. Ex began saying she wanted to speak to me directly when she dropped off. She said she felt like she was unloading a lot on a nanny and didn't want her to forget to tell me anything. I would be lying if I said I still didn't have some resentment and anger towards my ex. I don't want my daughter to see that though. So when I talk to my ex, I try to be as emotionally even as possible. Just talk about the things that pertain to my daughter and no more. At today's drop-off, Nadine had a dirty diaper, so her nanny took her upstairs to change her. My ex asked me how I was doing, and I told her I was fine. Thank you, and then began to walk back to my office. She sees herself out. She used to live there. As I was walking away, she says, "You know, I'm getting really sick of your shit." I didn't even get a chance to ask her what shit she was talking about when she just started freaking out, saying I was emotionally manipulating her by being cold and distant. That she shouldn't be punished forever for her mistakes and how me hating her is the same as me hating my daughter. I let her finish yelling and then told her to leave. I think my best bet is to go no contact with her again and not to see her for drop-offs anymore, but I was looking for some other perspectives or opinions on the matter if you might have them. Edit. I got a paternity test once I found out she cheated. My daughter is mine. First response comes from CA Girl 17. Yeah. Sometimes cheaters are delusional. My ex-husband did and still does this. I've made myself as clear as day, and he still continues to be annoying. My advice would be to not respond unless it's in regards to your daughter. My ex still tries to text like we're cool, and I ignore every one of them unless it pertains to her. He eventually gets the hint. I would also go back to having her deal directly with her when she does drop-offs. Another thing, your ex is sick of your shit because you're not reacting. My ex is the same way. Keep doing what you're doing. A reaction only gets them more riled up. Next comments from Magic Tube Socks of Joy. Yeah. No. She needs to not come around the house anymore. This is unacceptable behavior. Her reaction is probably guilt transference. She clearly still hasn't done the internal work to take responsibility to learn from her choices and mistakes and grow from them. She can leave written care instructions and a diaper bag from now on. I would only communicate in writing from now on for everything. You extended small amount of trust and allowed her to do the drop-off at your house, and she pushed and pushed. Despite you making it clear, you don't want to interact with her. And then she had a screaming freak-out with your daughter in the home. I assure you that is more harmful than the distance. I hope that you're able to get some therapeutic support to help you work through your residual emotions from this relationship. It is understandable to be resentful and angry in these circumstances, but you don't want to carry that around for too long. You have a golden opportunity to teach your daughter about how to heal by learning how to heal yourself. Update. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to everyone who took the time to comment their support, sympathies, and advice. I didn't get a chance to respond to all the comments, but I read and appreciate them all. There were so many great suggestions. Someone suggested a website called Talking Parents. I believe is going to be a great resource for my ex-wife and I. The thing I need to keep reminding myself is that in 5 or 10 years, the negative and betrayed feelings I have from my ex-wife will most likely fade, but a hostile relationship between the two of us will impact our daughter forever. Because of this, I sat down with my ex-wife and had a recorded conversation about our situation. I was very open and honest with her. I told her that I still have negative feelings towards her as my ex-wife, but as the mother of my child, I would always treat her civilly and respectfully, but we had to have boundaries. I told her that we are going back to the original plan where she drops her off at the daycare Wednesday mornings, and my nanny picks her up in the afternoon. We're going to communicate through the website which items should be sent home with her so that Annie can double-check to make sure she has everything. My ex-wife isn't happy. Thinks she was coming back to my house in hopes of reconciliation, but I told her respectfully, but in no uncertain terms, that it was never going to happen. But I would love to evolve a relationship as awesome company parents to an amazing little girl and maybe one day, friends. Again, thank you to everyone who took the time to reply to my post. This community has been a wonderful resource to me. I hope you all have a wonderful night. Let's get a reaction from No More Sweetheart. Navigating the whole co-parent thing will have its ups and downs, but hold to the attitude you wrote here no matter what. Keep yourself clear. Hopefully, things will go as smoothly as possible, though there may be some setbacks and shitty times ahead. Your ex has issues. Things won't get better overnight, and she may get worse before she gets better. That kind of selfishness can be hard to overcome. Cheaters are disgusting, but at the end of the day, you have a lovely daughter and so many wonderful times ahead with her. I'm sorry for the pain you've gone through. Wishing you happiness in the future. I also ended a marriage with a cheater. Turns out I didn't know what I was missing until I had a partner who actually loves and respects me. There are decent people out there. Cloud Caviar has our last comment before we take on another story. I'm glad things worked out for you, Op. However, as many commenters said, be careful with your ex-wife. Easily, your ex-wife can influence her daughter turn on you when she gets older. I recommend telling your daughter the truth in an age-appropriate way once she is old enough to understand. Tell her not to spite her mother, but use her mistake if you even call that a mistake, because I don't. As a life lesson for your daughter to help her see red flags when it comes to relationships, platonic or romantic, and not to do this to people. Don't know if you will be finding love later on, but if you do, don't say much about your current partner yet. You can say that you're seeing someone, but nothing else. Also, and solve security for an extra mile. Your ex sounds like she wants to get back with you for reasons, and will probably stalk you by either following you or installing a camera outside your house. Yes, people are crazy enough to do that. Usually, exes can get super salty or bitter when their ex finds someone else. Especially when they had cheated and was abusive. There are a lot of stories where the cheater or abuser will harass their ex and/or their current partner to break them up. Be safe, Op, and good luck. Wife left me and the kids for a coworker. I've been lurking here for a while and thought I should introduce myself. I'm a disabled vet and currently unemployed because of the pandemic. I had to stay home while my wife worked. We had just had our son right before COVID went down, so he's 1 now. I cooked, cleaned, did the laundry. I did all the housework without complaint. I took care of our 9 and 1-year-old, making sure school went well, made meals, the whole 9 yards. My ex and I both grew up in troubled homes, so the plan was to be the parent we needed when we were kids. Turns out, she had our last kid because she didn't love me anymore. She thought it would reignite something. She starts to work more, which I support. We need the money. Things start going bad with COVID, and we need to move into my mom's house so we can save money and she doesn't have to work as much. She's had a boyfriend since March. I had a feeling in April or so. By my birthday in May, I knew. She didn't even hug me. I never felt so alone. Now, me and the kids are living at my mom's. She's moved in with her boyfriend. It's been almost a month since we've been here. My daughter wants nothing to do with her mom. My son doesn't even ask her for milk or cares when she leaves. They're over the initial loss, I think. But I feel so alone. It feels like when you're walking with someone and you start telling a story. Then you turn to look at them, and they're gone. It's like that times 100. 14 years wasted. All I do is work out. I'm finally under 200 pounds for the first time in years. All I can think is keep moving forward from my kids. Thanks for letting me vent. Let's see what kind of support the community offers to this person. Springfield XD45 says, "Man, I'm sorry for you and the children. Frankly, that woman is a pig. She is neither a faithful wife nor a good mother. Please consider individual and possibly family counseling for you and the kids. Document everything for your attorney and get that process rolling before she comes out of the affair fog and starts the FA reconciliation BS because a fair partner dropped her like a deuce. Documentation of abandonment and strange men will help your case study. Take good care of those precious kids." The op responds, "Thank you. These babies are what's getting me through. I'm trying to be the man my daughter thinks I am. I like the advice for family counseling. We'll definitely look into that. I've been saving screenshots of her GPS movements because it was shared before in relationship statuses on Facebook. His status used to say that he was in relationship with her since March, but I stupidly told her about how it's gonna be hard for her to explain that in court. And now it just says the date they started their relationship instead of her name. I'm building what I can do for custody, although I don't make much for income. My mom is very well off, and I'm hoping her co-signing me helps my case. X was the breadwinner." Groundbreaking Bet 281 says, "Dude, you're giving her too much credit for telling the truth. A lot of times, they rewrite history to make them look better. The 'I didn't love you, so I had your baby' could very easily be made up after the affair started." Kindly Idea 2333 says, "Actually, rewriting the history is going to help you if you have them in a relay relationship documented. Here's how it goes. Your lawyer, you were in a relationship with him since March. Her, no. It wasn't until after we separated. Your lawyer, do you have proof of that? Her, yeah. It says the date on Facebook. Your lawyer, I have evidence this was posted in March. So you are lying in a legal proceeding. A decent lawyer can use that to prove intent to fraud." Reasonable Doubt 59 says, "When the kids start wondering why they weren't worth her time, tell them it wasn't about them and who they are. They are great. It was about her and who she is. I've had to tell too many kids who had parents leave this, and it seems to put them in a better mindset about the abandonment." The op closes out with one final comment. "Our marriage might have been on the outs, but I never thought she'd hurt the kids this way. I don't talk ill of her in front of the kids, but they feel my resentment, I think. I try to tell my daughter it isn't her fault, and both me and her mom love her exactly the same. My mom, who's helping me, has told me recently that my daughter is trying to focus on showing a happy face only. I 100% need to take her to some kind of counseling.